What is up, New Beginnings Church? Happy Friday morning to you. Thank God it is Friday. Let's do it. Let's finish off strong. We are finishing off a week of a little series of talks called Paradox, where we talked about the seemingly contradictory ideas of life and Scripture and even in the nature of God, 3 in 1, 1 in 3, sovereign, free will, all these ideas. Jesus, again, the way to find life is to lose it. That's a paradox. He goes, you want to receive in life? You got to give. You want to be great? You got to serve. You know, everything, it's an upside down kingdom. And I'm going to close with this one. In the paradox, I just worded it this way. The way to a hard life is easy, and the way to an easy life is hard. I don't know if anybody relates to that. When I was thinking about it, I actually thought about the character Samson from the Old Testament book of Judges. When you look at Samson, he was a guy that had all the abilities, all the talent, all the opportunity in the world. But yet if you look at it, man, did he make his life hard. And so the way he made his life hard was by consistently disobeying God and disregarding what God had told him to do. God was like, don't eat that. He would eat it. God would be like, yeah, don't marry women like that. He'd hook up with a woman like that. You know, just everything God told him to do, he'd do the opposite. And so you think, it's so true in life that temptation is so readily available and the ability to do the wrong thing is right there and it's so easy. And really doing stuff that's destructive to our life, in the immediate, it feels kind of good anyway. It seems kind of easy and then we're not happy with the end result. And yet the inversion is true. That if you really want, and easy maybe not be the best way to put it, but abundant. If you want an abundant life, there's a hard path to get there. As a matter of fact, think about this right here. Enter by the narrow gate. This is what Jesus' words were from the Sermon on the Mount. Enter by the narrow gate. Wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leads to destruction. There's many people who go by it, but narrow is the gate, and difficult is the way that leads to life. So think about it. He goes, no, finding life is hard. Finding death is easy, right? And so again, there's temptation around every corner. It's really easy just to say yes in the immediate because sin has this effect of like feeling really, really good in the moment, and it has short-term kind of benefit and long-term consequence. And this is what I think is so true. People that struggle with this idea, they have a very poor relationship with their future self. Let me say that again. People who struggle with this idea of like doing painful things so that their life can be better, they have a disconnect with their future self. Think about it. How many times have we been maybe out late on a Friday night and we were maybe like with our friends and it was like, oh, should I have just one more? Should I just two more or whatever? And like in the moment, the music, the friends, the moment, the next morning, you don't feel good. The next morning, Todd is now angry at nighttime Todd. And so nighttime Todd was thinking about just the here and the moment and the immediate pleasure. Present Todd was not thinking about future Todd. Think about that financially. How many times have we been in a store and you're like, ooh, it's on sale. It's 50% off. That just means you're spending 50% of the money that you shouldn't be spending anyway. That's all that means. And so because you had this immediate need to have something easy, it's going to make your life harder because now you're paying 16% interest on a credit card for it. So again, life is harder. When you think about the opposite though, it is hard to save. It's hard to say no. It's hard to be frugal sometimes. But those people, because they did the hard thing in the present moment, they have a happy relationship with their future self. Their future self, have you ever done that before? Have you ever made a great decision in life and not had it pay off for a long time? But you can go back and think, man, 10 years ago, I had no idea, but I did this and holy smokes, has it paid off? That guy had a great relationship with his future self. And so think about Samson. Samson always wants to have right now in the immediate pleasure. And if you look, his easy decisions to say yes to temptation produced a hard life. But because by the end of his life, he had been imprisoned. Really, he became a slave to his sin. He became a slave to his addiction. And so anyway, he ends up in prison. They bound him with fetters. They blinded out his eyes. And then they made him go work as a slave. And that's the effect of sin on your life. I want you to kind of consider this. Sin has a way of binding you up, blinding you from seeing the truth, and then having to make you work harder for everything in life. Why? Well, because it's easy. It's easy to say, think about it. Like it's easy to say yes to the donut now, right? It's hard to say, I want to get up and go to the gym. But if you get up and go to the gym and you keep doing that, your future self is so happy with you. But if you keep getting up and eating donuts every morning instead of working out, your future self will be angry at you. So what you need to do is start thinking, hey, you know what? I have a set of values. I have a set of beliefs. I have an abundant life ahead of me. Let me choose what may be hard now so that I can actually find something abundant in my life as my life continues to grow and unfold. Church, I hope you're wrestling with that today. What are the easy things that you've been saying yes to that you know you need to say no to? What are the hard things that you need to go do now that you know will produce a better result in your future? I pray God give you wisdom and the Spirit of God speak to you about that. Church, I love you so much. God bless you. We'll see you this weekend.